A message for Henchard. Susan Newson, poor unhappy woman, worried all night long. She had started on her travels in search of a real husband because she had felt it the right thing to do. But now she was not sure she could face him. But how would she look after Elizabeth Jane by herself? She was very poor and her health was fading. She felt so weak. The next morning, she decided to send Elizabeth Jane to Henchard with a message saying that his relative, Susan, a sailor's widow, was in town and leaving it to him to say whether or not he would see her. If he says no, she told Elizabeth Jane as the girl stood by the door, then tell him we will leave Casterbridge as quietly as we have come. I almost feel that I would rather he did say no, as I have not seen him for so many years, and we are now so different from him. And if he says yes, asked her daughter sensibly. In that case, answered Mrs. Newson carefully, ask him to write me a note saying when he will see us or me. Elizabeth Jane soon found Henchard's house on Corn Street. She was told that Henchard was working in his office at the back. However, the first person she saw when she got there was the young Scotsman, Mr. Farfrae. Yes, what is it? Said the Scotsman, looking quite at ease in his new position as manager of Henchard's corn business. She whispered that she wanted to see Mr. Henchard. Ah, yes. Will you wait a minute? He is busy just now, said the young man and handed her a chair. Elizabeth Jane realized that she should not have been surprised to find the Scotsman there. After all, she had heard of his employment with her own ears the night before. While she sat waiting, a man came into the room, reaching it as Henchard opened the door of the inner office to admit Elizabeth Jane. The newcomer stepped forward without seeing her and entered in her place. She could hear his words to Henchard, Joshua Job, sir, the new manager. The new manager? He is in his office, said Henchard. In his office? Said the man, not understanding. I said Thursday, said Henchard, and it is now Saturday. As you did not keep your appointment, I have engaged another manager. At first I thought he was you. I could not wait any longer. You said Thursday or Saturday. Sir, said the man, pulling out a letter. You said I could start on Saturday. Well, you are too late, said the corn merchant. I am sorry, very sorry indeed. But it can't be helped. There was nothing more to be said, and the man came out. Elizabeth Jane could see that he was very disappointed and very angry. Elizabeth Jane now entered and stood in front of the owner of the business. Now then, what is it, my young woman? He said kindly, can I speak to you? Not on business, sir, she asked. Yes, he looked at her thoughtfully. I am sent to tell you, sir, she innocently went on, that a distant relative of yours by marriage, Susan Newson, a sailor's widow, is in the town and to ask whether you would wish to see her. His color changed. Oh, Susan is still alive? He asked with difficulty. Yes, sir. Are you her daughter? Yes, sir. Her only daughter. What is your name? Elizabeth Jane, sir. Newson. Elizabeth Jane Newson. Well, I am very interested in your news, he said, and as this is not a matter of business, shall we go to my house? Elizabeth Jane was surprised at his gentle kindness, but she did not refuse as he led her out of his office and through to his house. Sit down, Elizabeth Jane, sit down, he said, his voice shaking as he spoke her name. Your mother, then, is quite well? She is rather worn out, sir, with travelling. A sailor's widow. When did he die? Father was lost last spring. The word father caught Henchard by surprise, but he quickly went on to another question. Do you and she come from abroad, America or Australia? No, we have been in England some years. I was 12 when we came here from Canada. Ah, exactly. By such conversation, he discovered what had happened to his wife and her child over the years. And where is your mother staying now? At the Three Mariners. Then you shall take a note from me to your mother. I should like to see her. She has not much money from her late husband. His eyes fell on Elizabeth Jane's clothes. Not much, she said, glad he had understood this without her having to say so. He sat down at the table and wrote a few lines, then took from his wallet a 5-pound note and 5 shillings from his pocket, and he put the money in the envelope with the letter. Sealing the whole thing carefully, he addressed it to Mrs. Newson, the Three Mariners Inn, and handed it to Elizabeth Jane. Please take this to her, said Henchard. Well, I am glad to see you here, Elizabeth Jane. Very glad. We must have a long talk together, but not just now. He took her hand and held it warmly as she left.